so we could start our lesson. So we have been working with multiple choice and reading text and doing paragraphs, right, with different readings. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do it a little bit differently, and I'm going to sort of guide you through it, because what we're going to do is we are going to be doing a poem. So can everybody see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Let me know you're alive out there. This is very difficult with no one in person. Okay. So if we go, obviously I'm going to show you this because I think the daily bulletin board for my class is kind of important these days, especially since everybody is remote. So you kind of need to take a look at that every day. Even, if you've gotten out of practice of doing that, get back in the practice, because all students must Zoom the class during their usual time. All students will be totally remote starting today. All students must Zoom the class. So we're going to check the bulletin board every day. Today, we're going to attend to a Zoom lesson on sea fever. We're going to work on multiple choice and breakout rooms. If you have not yet finished your iReady benchmark, you need to do so. And then also just a reminder that this Friday is the last day of the second quarter. So you should definitely get any work done that you owe. And there are a couple people in this Zoom meeting that owe me work, okay? All right, so we are actually going to do something called sea fever. So you're going to have to split your screen. I do want you to open up this document. So I would go to classwork, to cars, and then the sea fever text, okay? I need you guys to open that up on your screen. I got to go somewhere else to open it up on my screen for myself so that I don't write on everybody's thingy. Sea fever first period. Okay. So you guys are going to have to split your screen. And it looks like this, right? And there's 12 multiple choice questions. So what I need from you guys is to give me a thumbs up when you have your screen split.
I've had my screen split.
Thank you, Alex. Good. Haley, are you ready? Okay. I'm trying to see everybody else. So you guys here, all right. Carl's ready. All right. Kiara, Akeem, Georgia, Caden Sweeney, Zion, and Caleb, are you guys ready? Give me a thumbs up or check in with me, please.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Zion? I don't know if I heard you.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. So if you look at the directions, here's a poem about the sea written by English poet John Masefield. Read the poem, then do 1 through 12. Of course, I'm going to make you do some other stuff with that. So the reason why I'm doing this, first of all, this is like one of my favorite poems. I like this poem very much. I've been teaching it for a while. But the thing about poetry and why I decided to like step back and do this one kind of with you is because it is a poem. And a lot of times with poetry, it's hard to understand. I'm sure some of you are sitting there like sticking your finger in your mouth and saying, it's poetry, I hate poetry. Blah. Just bear with me because I love poetry. And, if you listen to music, you kind of like poetry because the lyrics are poems. But I also think it's harder to understand if you don't understand the vocabulary, because poets pick their words very carefully and specifically. So there's not a lot of context to go on. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to read the poem. And for right now, you can just make your screen, not my screen, your screen, the bigger screen, and open it up in Cami, which I should do too, so we can annotate. And I should also make my magic wands appear before you. Okay, so now you can see my cursor if you need to. Okay, so I'm going to read the poem through once, as I'm reading it, you're going to, underline any words that you don't understand or circle them or box them in or whatever so that we can go back and look at them. Okay? Is there anybody that's not ready to start? Okay, then I'm going to start. So this is Sea Fever by John Masefield. I must go down to the seas again, to the lonely sea and the sky, and all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by. And the wheels kick and the wind song and the white sails shaking and a gray mist on the sea's face and a gray dawn breaking. I must go down to the seas again, for the call of the running tide is a wild call and a clear call that may not be denied. And all I ask is a windy day with the white clouds flying and the flung spray and the blown spume and the seagulls crying. I must go down to the seas again, to the vagrant gypsy life, to the gull's way and the whale's way, where the wind's like a whetted knife. And all I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover and quiet sleep and a sweet dream when the long trick's over. Okay. My first question, guys, is how many stanzas are in this poem?
3.
3, right? Here's 1, here's 2, and then here's 3. Yes? Okay, good. So, first of all, what do you notice about the poem? Do you notice any literary devices being used? And if you do, where are they? That kind of thing. What do you notice about the poem? Hello? Children in Zoom land, I need some feedback.
Repetition.
Repetition. Who's talking to me? Caden Sweeney?
Devin.
Devin. Okay, where do you see repetition, buddy? You're right.
When it says I must go down to the sea again.
Yeah, if you look at the first line of each of the stanzas, oop, I'm on erase. Here we go. If you look at the first line, I must go down to the sea again. I must go down to the sea again. I must go down to the sea again. Any other places you see repetition? Repetition is the repeating of the same word, sound, or consonant. You don't see anything else repeated in this poem? I think you're.
and.
Yeah, the word and. Who said that? Who just said that? Akeem, good job. Okay, right? And that's done on purpose. Any other literary devices we notice? We spent a whole month on literary devices. There's literary devices in here. Come on, people.
Hyperbole?
Where do you see hyperbole? Let me ask you this, Bella. What is hyperbole?
Comparing two things.
No, it is not.
A great exaggeration.
Yes, hyperbole is a great exaggeration. So do you see any great exaggerations here?
Not really.
Okay, so I don't think there's, well, I mean, you could argue there's hyperbole, but I don't think it's really obvious. Okay, so let's think about some literary devices, first of all, because this is driving me a little bit crazy. You guys can't come up with them. Okay, so we talked about repetition. We talked about hyperbole. What's another literary device, Carl?
Personification.
Personification. Do you see, and personification is giving human traits to non-human things, right? Do you see any use of personification in this poem?
The wheels kick in the wind song.
Okay, so I think
have one.
that's, okay, hold on. The wheels kick in the wind song. What stanza am I in? 1, 2, or 3?
1.
Oh, okay. So the wheel means like the steering wheel of the ship, right? Cannot kick. The wind doesn't really sing. All right, what else? Good. And what, anybody else see other personification?
I do.
Who's I do?
Alexander.
Alexander. Okay, guys, do me a favor because I can't, first of all, see all of you and some of you don't have your screens on. So if you could just like tell me your name when you start talking to me, that'd be greatly helpful. Okay, Alex, go
Okay.
ahead.
And a gray mist on the sea's face, stanza 1.
Stanza 1. Yep, the sea does not have a face. There are other examples of personification, okay? What's another literary device? So you've got personification, repetition. Haley, what's another one?
Imaginary.
Imagery.
Yeah,
Imagery.
yeah,
Okay,
right.
so where do you see imagery?
Where it says the knife, the wetted knife. You can like picture a wetted knife in your brain, in your kind of mind.
Okay, I would argue that the whole poem is filled with imagery. What is the image this guy, John Masefield, has produced?
The sea.
Sea and what it's like being at the sea. Right? Okay, there's an obvious literary device being used that you guys are missing. So let me just read the first stanza again, see if you can figure it out. I must go down to the seas again, to the lonely sea in the sky, and all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by, and the wheels kick and the wind's song, and the white sails shaking, and a gray mist on the sea's face, and a gray dawn breaking. What device? Rhyme. Yeah, who said that?
Akeem.
Good. Okay, so you got sky, oops, wrong thingy again. Sky, by, shaking, breaking, right? So it's kind of like every other line in that first stanza. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now that we have that, let's just stick with this first stanza. Is there anybody that underlined or boxed into any words that they did not understand in this first stanza?
What's a wetted knife?
I'm in the first stanza. Who's talking to me? First stanza is this first group of lines right here, the one I just reread. That's the only one we're talking about right now. Are there any words or phrases in there that we need to talk about? Okay, good. What about the second stanza, the middle stanza? Any words or phrases that anybody highlighted or really?
Boom.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
the-
Who said that?
Bella.
Bella, good. Thank you, because I was just about to ask somebody about that word. Spoon. Okay. So look at it. All I ask is a windy day with the white clouds flying and the flung spray and the blown spume and the seagulls crying. I'm just trying to see. Actually, I think the picture might help you here. So if there's spray, you know what it means by spray, like the water spraying up, right? And blown spume. Who would blow water in the ocean? Who or what?
Well,
A whale. So basically, this is talking about he gets to see whales. You know how the whale has that hole in its head and it like shoots water out when it surfaces? So he's
Yeah.
just talking about, well, here I go, not being able to write here. Hold on a second. Let's try again. Okay. I know I could do a text box, but that's going to take me way too long. So this is just really giving you the image of a whale. So if you didn't know that, write that on your copy. Okay. The third stanza, I know somebody asked about a whetted knife. That's the one that everybody always asks about. So let's see if we could get it from the context. To the gull's way and the whale's way where the wind's like a whetted knife. So it's got to be like some sort of knife. So if the wind is on the ocean, what kind of wind is it going to be? If it's like a knife, what kind of wind is it going to be?
hard.
Hard,
Very like cold.
cold. It's going to be sharp. We're talking about a knife, right? Okay, so if you notice the spelling of wetted, it's W-H-E-T-T-E-D, okay? Have any of you ever, anybody hunters out there or Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, have you ever taken a knife and had to sharpen it on a stone?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
like where you put a little bit of oil on the stone and then you draw the knife blade across it to make it sharper. That stone is called a whetting stone, W-H-E-T-T-I-N-G. Okay, so that's where that comes from. Good. What, any other words in this last stanza?
Vagrant Gispy.
Vagrant gypsy. Was that Akeem again?
Zion.
Zion, okay. All right, good. All right. Not a lot of context here. I must go down to the seas again to the vagrant gypsy life. Okay, so when he talks about the sea, I'm just going to back up a little bit, try to get you to figure out what this kind of life is. He's talking about living a certain type of life. From his description, how do you think this author feels about life at sea?
He loves it.
He loves it. Why? What is it
It's
about the
fun to
life
him.
at sea?
He just
Say again?
keeps saying, I must
It's
go
fun
down
to
to
him.
see it again.
Right, he keeps repeating he has to go there. And so he really loves it, and you're absolutely right. But my question is to read a little bit further and a little more carefully. Why does this person writing this poem love the sea so much? What is it about the sea?
He likes to see all the animals.
He likes to see the animals. What else? What kind of life is he able to lead when he's at sea? On the water, going from here to there, seeing the animals in the ocean, jumping. Is it sort
His
of like,
social life?
huh?
His social life?
Well, social life, sort of, but is he staying in one place? No.
Traveling around
So,
the world.
I don't know if
maybe.
you know about gypsies, but gypsies lived in Europe and they were wandering people. They wandered. They did not have one place. My handwriting is terrible with the computer. I'm very sorry about that. Okay. Vagrant means, vagrant and gypsy kind of are synonyms. Like they mean that somebody, not necessarily homeless, but it's somebody that doesn't have a particular home and they move from place to place to place to place. Okay. So normally what I would have you do is I would normally have you give each stanza a title. But I think we're going to skip that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do this. We have, I don't know how many people, there are 11 people in here. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break you up into groups of 2, I think. And you're going to work on multiple choice. And what I might do is I might say to, 2 or 3 groups, you guys work on 1 through 6, and then the other ones I'll say work on 6 through 12. Does that make sense? When you answer the questions, you're going to find your answer in the text. You're going to go back and you're going to underline the question, underline where your proof is. You have to find the proof. And then you're going to label it whatever the number is. There is no number 13, so I'm pretending there. Okay, does that make sense? And you have to do that for each question that you are assigned. We're not going to pretend like we're doing it. I want to see your paper or your document look really, really, really sloppy. Okay. So let me break you up into groups here. If I could remember how to do that. Breakout rooms. Create. Okay. I think that will do it. Okay, and I might rearrange them. I'm just going to see how they are. So let's see. Okay, so we're going to have 5 groups. So the first group has 3 people. So it's going to be Alex, Caleb, and Caleb. Okay, you guys are going to do, hold on, I got to make myself a note because this is going to go into tomorrow because we don't have a whole lot of time left. So room 1 is going to do 1 through 6. Room 2 is Carl and Georgia. You guys are going to do 1 through 6. Room 3, Haley and Zion. You guys are going to do 7 through 12. Room 4 is Akeem and Devin. You guys are going to do 7 through 12. And then room 5 are Bella and Kiara. What one do you want to do? 1 through 6 or 7 through 12, girls? I don't care.
I don't care.
All right. We'll make you do 1 through 6. All right. So I'm going to break you out and hopefully tomorrow the same people will come. We might get more people tomorrow. And then, you get started. We have about, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes to class left. So get as far as you can. And I might pop in to your rooms. Okay. If the person that you are assigned to, if your partner is not talking to you or not participating in any way, do the work anyway on your own, and then I will deal with that person later. But please try to help your partners, okay? Have real discussions about this. Ready, set, go. Georgia, are you there? And Caden Sweeney, you got to join your groups, guys.
I know. I'm just. Once it won't let me click on it.
Okay. There you go, okay, Georgia. Okay.
Yeah, actually, yeah. See,
So C.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna say because
No.
wait, no, but see, fever.
Yeah.
It's like you don't want to be at